Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome back to another Mortal Kombat 11 video. In today's history of breakdown and analysis, we will be talking about the god of death and child of Kronika, the fallen elder god Shinnok. Now to talk about Shinnok properly, we have to go all the way back to the original timeline to the dawn of time. You see, before everything existed, there was simply just the void. But in due time, two different deities would come into existence, that being the one being and the elder god. Now the two sides would battle, as the one being was more or less the apex predator, feasting on the elder gods and using their godhood as sustenance. Unable to deal the finishing blow to such a powerful force, the elder gods formed a plan to remove the one being through the use of Kami Durgu amulets. You see, these amulets weren't designed to kill the one being, but instead separate his body and his consciousness into different fragments, and the fragments from his body would soon turn into the realms as we know it, and in due time life would flourish. When the elder gods saw this, they came to the realization of their position in the universe, and thus allowed these somewhat lesser beings to guide their own life and fate. Now each of these realms would in fact be protected by a god. For example, Earthrealm would be protected by Raiden, and the Netherrealm would be protected by Lucifer. So all seemed well in the realm, as civilizations and homes were being built. But this didn't sit well with everyone, i.e. Shinnok. The elder god was disgusted by the life sprung from the one being's body, and thus wanted to purge what it had created. And despite his claim, he would be denied by his fellow gods out of fear, but if they do touch the mortal realm, then it may in fact awake the one being from his slumber. Shinnok would however ignore their claim, and thus to somewhat guarantee success on his mission, would create a powerful amulet that would amplify the wielder's power, which he would then follow through on his plans of destroying the realm. Now this invasion was cataclysmic, as his attack sent shockwaves through the realm, but these events could not be overlooked by his fellow brothers and sisters, and they would get involved. So a battle sparked out across the realm, killing and destroying many caught in the middle of the conflict, but eventually Shinnok was defeated, and as punishment for his crime, he would be taken to the Netherrealm, where he would be guarded and tortured by Lucifer for an eternity. But this wouldn't go in quite the way the elder gods had hoped. While stranded in the Netherrealm, Shinnok would reach out to a pale demon by the name of Quan Chi, promising him incredible power and a position at his side if he released him from his shackle. And as expected, Quan Chi would oblige, as the demon immediately recognized the fallen elder god, and together they would slay Lucifer and lay claim to the Netherrealm. Now wanting to maintain his facade of being imprisoned in the Netherrealm, Shinnok would lie low and have Quan Chi do his bidding, as he required his amulet for a full-scale invasion. So whilst Quan Chi was plotting with the Lin Kuei in Mortal Kombat mythologies Sub-Zero, Shinnok started to pull the strings on forming his own faction and army in the Netherrealm, this being the Brotherhood of Shadow. Now Shinnok does make his first ever in-game canon appearance in mythologies as a boss. You see, during the course of the game, Quan Chi had hired the Lin Kuei assassin Sub-Zero to track down the scroll of elements, which would later lead him to the amulet of Shinnok. But just before he could claim it and bring it back, Quan Chi snatches it from his grasp and disappears. Confused as to what's happened, Sub-Zero is lectured by a disappointed Raiden, who informs him that he has inadvertently paved way for Shinnok to come back. So to somewhat redeem himself, Bi-Han would travel into the depths of the Netherrealm in order to reclaim this amulet, and this is where he would come face to face with Shinnok. The two would clash, but despite Shinnok's monstrous form, Bi-Han was successful in obtaining the amulet. Now although Bi-Han was successful in stopping Shinnok's invasion, little did Bi-Han actually know that he later down the line would in fact be a part of it. Shinnok was far from deterred, and would later canonically appear in the conquest mode of Mortal Kombat Deception, where he would reach out to the likes of Shijenko to retrieve his amulet. And like the good naive errand boy Shijenko is, he would obtain it and give it to Shinnok. Although the fallen elder god had the amulet finally in his grasp, and his army was itching for flesh and battle, Shinnok would bide his time. Being aware of this new chosen one in Earthrealm, as well as Shao Kahn's current engagement with Earthrealm through Mortal Kombat, he would wait till both sides were weak and then he would strike. So during this time he would recruit the likes of Tanya, Baraka, Melina, and even Bi-Han, now under the alias Noob Saibot. So this finally brings us up to Shinnok's main game debut, Mortal Kombat 4. Now the fourth game of the series takes place almost immediately after 3 finishes. Liu Kang has just defeated Shao Kahn, Edenia has been freed from Outworld, and the realms are finally pushing back against the Emperor, and all really does seem well. But it's here where Shinnok springs his attack across the realm, catching them all off guard, and slaughter thousands in his way. During this assault, he's able to conquer Edenia, defeating and imprisoning Sindel and her daughter Kitana, murdering a handful of gods in the realm of heaven, and push Earthrealm and Outworld world to the very brink of destruction. It really looked like Shinnok's planning was about to pay off, but it's here where he realized he'd been betrayed by none other than his right-hand man, Quan Chi. You see, Quan Chi knew how to use Shinnok's amulet and only stuck by his side in order to obtain it. So the amulet that was given to him by the young Shijenko was in fact a fake that Quan Chi had planted. So unfortunately for the Elder God, he came to this painful realization seconds before he was confronted by Earthrealm's champion, Liu Kang, and as expected he was defeated by the Shaolin. Upon his defeat, he would once again be incarcerated to the Netherrealm. Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Now Shinnok really does remain inactive from the events of Mortal Kombat 4 onwards, missing out on games such as Deadly Alliance as well as Deception, but it's in Armageddon where he does make his return. Clearly bitter about his loss from 4, Shinnok chooses to remain in the Netherrealm, but it's here where he would be greeted by a son of the Edenian god Argus, Dagon. Although Shinnok was never really a friend of the fam, he immediately recognized the young man and was surprised to learn that Dagon had really gone against his family's lineage. Having killed his parents and become the leader of the crime syndicate, the Red Dragons, Dagon was definitely the odd one out of the family. So because of this, Dagon somewhat saw Shinnok as a kindred spirit. Unimpressed by the youth's very brash demeanor, he wanted to test his might, having him fight illusions of Kintaro and Shiva, to which he did of course defeat them. However, this would not impress Shinnok, so Shinnok would remain in the Netherrealm, whilst maintaining a somewhat loose friendship with Dagon. Now during the conquest mode of the game, Shinnok would yet again come across another son of Argus, this time being Dagon's brother, Taven. Now the deceptive god is able to fool Taven into defeating the outworldly Mei, as at the time she wished to destroy him. Now after this, much like what he did with Dagon, he wished to test Taven's capability, having him fight the same illusions that Dagon did. But unlike Dagon, Shinnok was actually impressed by the technique and skill that Taven displayed. After being impressed by the young man, he would send him on his way, being aware that the Battle of Armageddon was on the horizon. Now it's here where Shinnok would have one more confrontation with Dagon, warning him to not take his brother lightly. But the very egotistical demigod would brush this off, thinking of himself even above the opinion of an elder god. Now shortly after this, Shinnok would begin to prep for the Battle of Armageddon, even putting aside his burning resentment of Quan Chi, as he wanted the best possible chance of obtaining the power of Blade. But during this prep time, he would be tracked down by one Johnny Cage, who would blindside the god and defeat him in combat. But before Cage could finish him, Shinnok would vanish into a cloud of smoke, narrowly escaping the actor. Now the final time we do see Shinnok in the original timeline is during the Battle of Armageddon, where he's on the forces of darkness, battling against the likes of Raiden. But as expected, once the Pyramid of Argus does rise, it becomes an all-out battle, and Shinnok apparently dies. Or does he? You see, in Shinnok's ladder ending in Armageddon, it says that Shinnok created a clone for himself and had sent it into battle, so that after it finally settled, he could finally act on some sort of plan he had in the works. This isn't exactly uncommon in the Mortal Kombat universe, as Shao did create a clone to fake his demise, but we will never truly know if Shinnok survived the Battle of Armageddon, as ladder endings typically aren't exactly canon, and the universe is restarted at the end of Armageddon when Raiden sends a message to his past self upon Shao absorbing the power of Blade. So this brings us to our reboot, Mortal Kombat 9. Now, the series being revived years down the line in Mortal Kombat 9, we learned that there has been some slight tweaks and alterations to the lore. Before the Elder Gods and one being existed, there was in fact the Titan, cosmic primordial gods, but unlike the other gods we do see in the series that typically control the element, Titans controlled the fabrics of reality itself, and the Titan that overlooked the Mortal Kombat universe was one by the name of Kronika. The Kronika was the Titan of time, and did have two children that would become Elder Gods, the first being Shinnok, and the other being Cetrion. So in the expanded lore and universe, Shinnok does have a sister and a mother. Now despite this somewhat adding more lore to the universe, things for the most part do pan out the same. The one being is defeated by the Elder Gods, the realms give birth to life, Shinnok gets upset, Shinnok gets imprisoned, and the natural course of time proceeds much like the original canon. The only real tweaks and alterations is that in this timeline the Kami Dogus are daggers, and Quan Chi is a devoted follower of Shinnok instead of a treacherous opportunist. Now although Shinnok himself plays absolutely no role in the main story of Mortal Kombat 9, he does make a cameo at the very end of it, setting up his invasion for Mortal Kombat X. So with this being said, Mortal Kombat X. Now one really important thing to point out here is that due to the butterfly effects created from Raiden's missteps in 9, as well as the deaths of many by the hand of Sindel, Shinnok in this timeline and continuity has a larger Brotherhood of Shadow, consisting and being made up of the likes of even Liu Kang, Kitana, Sindel, and countless others. So Shinnok's invasion of Earthrealm seems nigh unstoppable. Now in this timeline and continuity, unlike the original, Shinnok has his eyes set on the Jinsei chamber housed within Earthrealm, as it is its life force. He knows that once he drains its power, he will be able to transcend his Elder God form. So at the beginning of the game, Shinnok can be seen at the Sky Temple with his Revenant forces, attacking and defeating Raiden and Fujin. Now here, it does seem like Shinnok has won, but he is once again blindsided by Johnny Cage, assisted by Sonya Blade and Ken Shi. Shinnok proves to be nearly too much for them to handle, that is, until Cage is able to tap into his Mediterranean War Cult green energy and use it to defeat the Elder God. Upon his defeat, Shinnok would be sealed within his own amulet, which he'd then be brought before the Elder Gods, and disappear for a large portion of the game. Now although Shinnok is gone for a long amount of time, it doesn't stop his Brotherhood of Shadow, now led by Quan Chi, carry on his bidding and retrieve the lost amulet. We see this in the Mortal Kombat X comic book series, where Quan Chi even has the Chaos Cleric Havoc seek out the amulet, but in the comic book series, Havoc does turn against the Necromancer until he is defeated. So the amulet does elude the grasp of the Brotherhood for a very long amount of time. Now after about 20 to 25 years have passed by since his imprisonment, Shinnok is finally released from his amulets by Quan Chi, due to an altercation between the Shira Ryu and the Special Forces. As Hanzo Hasashi wishes to kill Quan Chi, the fallen Elder God is released from his amulet, which he then uses it to strike everyone down. From here, he sets his eyes on the Sky Temple, wanting to corrupt the Jinsei once again. Now to somewhat guarantee his success, he would take Johnny Cage with him, making sure that he was restrained the entire time. Now upon storming the Sky Temple, he would strike down Bo Rai Cho and restrain even Raiden himself. From here, he would finally step in the Jinsei chamber, absorbing its overwhelming power. Now not only did he taint the life force of the Jinsei, but he was slowly but surely killing the realm, and by absorbing its power, he would take on a new monstrous form. And once again, Shinnok seemed like he was on the brink of victory, but there is one thing he didn't count on. Between the time of his defeat, a new generation has been formed, and a team made up of Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Kung Jin, and Takeda Takahashi would attack and storm the Sky Temple. So it's here where Shinnok would come face to face with the next generation of Cage. Now at first, Cassie really does struggle, as Shinnok's new form seems unstoppable, but once Cassie is able to tap into a green energy, the fallen Elder God realizes his mistake and is defeated by Cassandra. From here, Raiden would go inside the Jinsei chamber and cleanse Shinnok's corruption, reverting him back to his original form. So Shinnok is defeated, but this isn't the end of him. You see, at the very beginning of Mortal Kombat 11, we see Shinnok restrained within the Jinsei chamber, and Raiden now in a dark form. You see, upon cleansing the Jinsei, he absorbed all of the dark energy that Shinnok had infected it with, and had turned into Dark Raiden. Now, in the beginning of Mortal Kombat 11, Shinnok says that the two aren't that different, but it's here where Raiden shows no restraint, saying that there are fates worse than death, and decapitates the fallen Elder God. Although this doesn't kill Shinnok, this renders him to a vegetative state, but alive, not dead, but unable to do anything. Now, after Raiden leaves the Sky Temple, Shinnok would be visited by his mother, Kronika, who expressed her sadness in seeing her son like this, as in her eyes, it was always his destiny to win. So due to all of the alterations that Raiden has caused in this new timeline, decapitating Shinnok could be seen as the straw that broke the camel's back. So from here onwards, Kronika now plays an active role in Mortal Kombat 11, being the main antagonist, with her daughter Cetrion. Now Raiden is unaware of this meeting, so when he returns back to the Sky Temple, he would take the severed head of Shinnok and throw it at the feet of the new Netherrealm rulers, Kitana and Liu Kang. Now from this point onwards, Shinnok no longer really plays a role in the game. He is seen in certain chapters where he's still being worshipped by the Revenants in the Netherrealm, but he is just a severed head located in Netherrealm's Bone Temple, so he plays absolutely no role in the game. And with the universe being reset in Mortal Kombat 11, and a somewhat mysterious ending with Aftermath, we do not truly know what will happen with this character. He may come back in a future installment, but for now, this has been the history of Shinnok. I hope you have enjoyed this video and learnt more by doing so. I have been wanting to do this one for a while. Do you think Shinnok will return in a later installment? Or do you think that this could be it for Shinnok as a character, as both endings of Aftermath really entail an interesting future for the series, regardless of which one we do pick? So please do comment down below. Now, if quarantine's still going on, I will in fact be trying to put out more history of episodes so the stuff does lay off, as Aftermath is now over, but I still wish to keep giving you awesome content. So keep an eye out, as there will be more history of episodes coming out each week. On top of this, we have some brand new and exclusive content coming to the channel, with Mortal Kombat content that hasn't been discussed or revealed before. I'll be teaming up with the writer of the Mortal Kombat X comic book series, Sean Kittleson, to bring you this exclusive news and scoop about what happened to the mysterious second annual of the Mortal Kombat X comic book series that didn't come to fruition. So if you like the comic book series, you definitely want to keep an eye out. Now, as always, before this video wraps up, if possible, let let's try getting it to about 500 likes, and also don't forget to tick that bell, as a great way of keeping up to date with the channel. Now without any further ado, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.